All right, it is Thursday the 22nd. Let's dive right into today's reading from The Art of War. We're in chapter 7, verse 23 of The Art of War. The Book of Army Management says, on the field of battle, the spoken word does not carry far enough, hence the institution of gongs and drums. Nor can ordinary objects be seen clearly enough, hence the institutions of banners and flags. Right, so the sound of your word does not carry far enough. So when I think about this in terms of managing a company, actions speak louder than words. You can't simply tell your employees to do something. You can't simply lead by telling. You have to lead by example, right? Banners and flags. Be the banner, be the flag. Be the example. All right, we like to go to an alternate translation here with a little bit of reflection from some of the other military generals of the time. They have put a couple of the following verses together. So Master Sun says, an ancient book of military order says, words are not heard, so cymbals and drums are made. Owing to lack of visibility, banners and flags are made. Cymbals, drums, banners, and flags are used to focus and unifies people's ears and eyes. Once people are unified, the brave cannot proceed alone. The timid cannot retreat alone. This is the rule for employing a group. And Mei Yao Chen reflects on this, saying that to unify people's ears and eyes means to make people look and listen in concert so they do not become confused and disorderly. Signals are used to indicate directions and prevent individuals from going off by themselves. Right? So without clear leadership in your organization, within your life, right, within yourself and within your own discipline, you're going to have these employees who, without direction, are going to go do their own thing because they are doing what they think is right. You may not have the discipline to say no to certain whims and ideas of goals or projects that you want to start. You might want to start a new book or a new TV series when you haven't finished the one you're on. Maybe you haven't finished a certain video game. And instead of keeping your time management intact and saying, okay, here, I've got this thing for work to do, I've got this personal life time allotted, and I've got this allotted for this and this, and maybe you start letting 2 video games take up the time where you should be reading, where, you're playing one video game for several hours instead of focusing on, I set myself a limit of an hour of video games a night and an hour of reading a night and 2 hours of family time at the end of the day, right? And then, an hour for self-care, showering, bedtime routine, things like that. And you kind of just lose track of it, right? Without the leadership, leading by examples, without the banners, the flags, the cymbals, and the drums of what is your drumbeat, essentially, of where you're going, you could get lost. So establishing these things is very important. All right, now let's go over to the Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. What's better left unsaid? Cato practiced the kind of public speech capable of moving the masses. Believing proper political philosophy takes care, like a great city, to maintain the warlike element. But he was never seen practicing in front of others, and no one ever heard him rehearse his speech. When he was told that people blamed him for his silence, he replied, better they not blame my life. I begin to speak only when I'm certain what I'll say isn't better left unsaid. Plutarch, Cato the Younger, 4. It's easy to act, to just dive in. It's harder to stop, to pause, to think. No, I'm not sure I need to do that yet. I'm not sure I am ready. And so just starting out, think of this in the sense of going to war without thinking, without implementing these fallbacks on how to, to employ bravery. Because just like Cato's doing here, he's taking the time to make sure that everything that he does is intentional. As Cato entered politics, many expected swift and great things from him, stirring speeches, roaring condemnations, wise analyses. He was aware of this pressure, a pressure that exists on all of us at all times, and resisted. It's easy to pander to the mob and to your ego. Instead, he waited and prepared. He parsed his own thoughts, made sure he was not reacting emotionally, selfishly, ignorantly, or prematurely. Only then would he speak, when he was confident that his words were worthy of being heard. To do this requires awareness. It requires us to stop and evaluate ourselves honestly. Can you do that? It is so true. It's very hard to stop and evaluate yourself from time to time, and that's why we get lost, and that's why the implementation of these quotation, banners, flags, drums, and symbols, these disciplines that we implement in our own life are so important.